Hi everyone! In today's video, I get to share with you what I finally bought from the Chanel holiday collection. Now, it's not a very good sign when I go into the Chanel boutique and I'm greeted by a myriad, actually, of essays with a back again and a fixed smile, because I was coming and going and toing and froing, armed with my baby wipes to swatch the 9-pan palettes, which I kind of felt had my name written all over them, even though all three are totally different, and you will see the swatches shortly in the comparisons. However, I kind of felt that as I was swatching, they weren't kind of dead on, or were they? And that's why I was kind of toing and froing. And it really reminded me of when I was potty training toddlers, stay with me, in the sense that the final offering may not be exactly where I want it to be, but it was deserving of encouragement nonetheless. So let's see what I decided and watch on. Here is the new Singular, the palette I was most interested in. Earth tones of brown and sienna with avant-garde shades of deep purple, peach and mint green. I should say that all these three palettes have been put together by the Comet Collective, who are 3 makeup artists, and they have a creative collaboration, and they're described as a tribe of independent thinkers. So in other words, if Noam Chomsky or Aristotle or Nietzsche were makeup lovers, they would probably today be working for Chanel, although I should say that Noam Chomsky is still very much alive and with us. I do like these shades. I think they are probably the most wearable of the 3 palettes. Here we have Space Traveller, unexpected hues of intense orange, cosmic blue and mauve. The curator of these is a science fiction buff. I mean, I rather hope it's not Planet of the Apes science fiction, because obviously that would have been a bit of a challenge, wouldn't it, to put those on the eyelids. But look at that gorgeous, gorgeous cosmic blue in the middle. That's absolutely cracking. Lots of sparkle. Can you see how much I've been swatching? Can you see the level of residual sparkle on my hand? Honestly, it's just extraordinary. But anyway, I do like that soft gold in the top left as well. And that orange, look at that. Cracking. And here's Daring Muse, a deep green, a blue and a red balanced by a touch of metallic colour and a rose gold hue for a rich and intense makeup. This is described as a palette of bold femininity. Got to be careful with that, because it could describe the Skims hairy thongs, which I at first thought were a witty take on an eye patch, but clearly I'm not the target market. Look at these lovely silvers and the light colours at the top, balanced out by the darker, deeper hues. Really lovely, actually. I love that central greeny shade and that soft black. All 3 of these palettes had something in them that I found really exciting, but equally they all had something that frustrated me a little bit. In a sense, I kind of feel that I didn't have that connection that I really thought that I would have and that I would expect. Not so much at the price level, the price is the price, but just the kind of the commitment of, you know, bringing something home and knowing that you need to be excited. For me, I need to be excited by 80% of a palette. That is my magic number, I have realised. I don't mind if there are 1 or 2 shades that I don't use, as long as I'm excited by the vast majority of it. And in this case, for all 3, it was a game of 2 halves, and that's my only football analogy I can ever make. I have no idea what that means. So the question is, what did I buy? This is the bit in the video where I turn into a Jane Austen heroine. So having been dazzled by the 9 pans, or rather the magnificent newcomer to the village who looks great on horseback and has a glint in his eye, actually I went for the quiet reliability of Nuit Astrale. Let me tell you, this is the keeper. This is the husband material who's going to be there no matter what. It's absolutely lovely. I'm going to show you the swatches and show you why this, I think, is the real winner of the holiday collection. I also bought the lipstick. Now, I bought actually probably the least remarkable of the lip products. Again, I was toing and froing and toing and froing. This is so lovely. It's Abstrait. I'm wearing it at the moment. I haven't stopped wearing it. I mean, I love the formula anyway, but this shade is just perfection because it just complements a more kind of intense eye look. It just goes with everything. I know it's probably a bit dull, and I'm happy to lean into my dullness. I really am. Maybe it's about time I leaned into my dullness, frankly, and just piped down a little bit. Anyway, let me show you the swatches. Here are daylight swatches. Now, I've swatched them in the same configuration as the quad, so it's easy for you to know which one's which. Now, let's start here with this one, which is described as a silver-toned dark purple shimmer. There's shimmer, but not glitter. It's not chunky or too much. Next to it, we have a blue shimmer highlighter. Again, it's quite soft. If you see, as I sort of turn my hand, can you see? It's only when it catches the light a little bit. Then we have the only matte shade in the quad, which is described as a matte blue-grey. And then next to it, we have a satin lavender. I do love a satin eyeshadow. And that is the colour story. Now, these are literally one swipe swatches. Here is Rouge Allure Velvet in Abstrait. It is the most lovely wearable shade. It's described as an intense rosewood. On me, I wouldn't say it's that intense, but it just complements these shades, I feel, and it's just so wearable. Gives us a luminous matte finish, moisturising, not drying, and it's not got that dry matte quality, which I just think is still basically being made despite the brands telling us they're not as drying as they were before. If you've got dry lips, this is still fine. It really is. Look at the packaging. This part of the lipstick has got the logo, as they describe it, encircled with rays of light. Who doesn't want that? Okay, let's try them on. I should say at this point that everything that I talk about in this video is listed in the description box down below, and I want to thank you in advance for considering supporting my channel. It means the absolute world to me. It really does. So thank you, and thank you. If you're enjoying the video so far, then please give me a thumbs up, because that helps enormously too. And if you haven't already, then please consider subscribing, because that helps enormously as well. I upload at least twice a week, more if something catches my beady eye. And I try and inject fun into the already huge joy that is beauty and makeup in particular. So let's crack on to the rest of the video. So here I am in natural daylight. Now, just to remind you what this looks like, that's what it looks like. I have basically put all the colours, but just, oh, these are so soft. Excuse the cat. They're just so soft to apply and quite dreamy, actually. I'm very pleased with this palette. Now, it did occur to me when one of the reasons why I was quite slow with kind of making my choice is I did kind of think, oh, haven't I got something like it in my collection? And actually, it was Dior's Misty Iris that I was sort of badly remembering. So Misty Iris looks like this. Let me just put them close together. On the hand, that's what they look like. So at the top you've got I've got no sense of direction. At the top you've got Misty Iris, and then you've got Nuit Astrale at the bottom. So can you see Misty Iris is more metallic, more spring-like, probably, and Nuit Astrale is more mysterious. I mean, you know, Nuit Astrale, it's kind of, who doesn't want to be partaking in starry nights this time of year? Something a little bit more celestial. The thing about Misty Iris, it didn't put me off the palette because I did use it. You can see though, I didn't wear it as much as I thought I would. And I think what in the end put me off is, in the light of day, it is quite metallic. And these kind of pinky metallics, I think in the end I found maybe not dimensional enough to kind of give me what I wanted, but that's sort of by the by. Also, Misty Iris always sounded to me like a small town girl with a big country and western voice who kind of makes it against the odds, but she never forgets where she came from. It's not that it put me off. I actually quite like these kind of stories, but it didn't feel very Dior as a name. Couldn't get past that, whereas Nuit Astrale, I don't know, bit of a winner. I think, for me, this is super duper wearable. That's what I think. It was really easy to apply, really soft, just lovely. So yeah, Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comments down below and what you think of my choice. Let's have a look at it now in, I was going to say unnatural light. Let's have a look at it in artificial light and see what you think. Let's have a look close up in artificial light. Now, just to remind you, I have got Abstrait on my lips. Such an easy colour. And I do like this formula. It's kind of matte, but it's not drying. It's comfortable, you know, it's fine. It's lovely, actually. I do really like this formula. And also, I just want to say, I'm such a sucker for the packaging. This whole press it and out it comes, it's just like amazing. Thrilling, actually. So yeah, that's a big plus for me. Also, I'm just reminding you how nice it looks. Isn't that lovely? That's really nice. Anyway, so you've seen the lips. Let us do that so you can have a look, see what you think. Now, I have used the 3 colours on my lids with just the really light, very, very light blue just in the corner. But these shades are just so easy to use. Look, I don't go to Chanel for the pizzazz of Danessa or something like that. But one of my frustrations has been they kind of don't really show up and I've got to work quite hard. Whereas this, super easy. This is done. This is like the work of moments. It really is. What do you think? Let me know. On a more tangential note, I was having a clear out of my drawers and I came across a product that I hadn't used in a while. And it is the YSL Make Me Blush in 37. That's what I've got on now. I'd forgotten how nice this was. I'm just pointing it out. It's just really easy, really nice to use. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. And do you think I made the right decision? If I was only going to buy one Chanel palette from these holiday releases, have I chosen the right one? I know the 9 pans have been immensely popular. And I just want to say that just the fact that they exist fills me with hope. Because while in the end, they weren't that tempting to me once I really swatched and I had a really, really good look, because the essays in the boutique were just, you know, incredibly helpful and patient, frankly. I was there a long time. But I do know how popular they are. So that fills me with hope, because I kind of want Chanel to kind of get the message that there are people out there, there are buyers out there who want to have something that's particularly maybe more punchy, more interesting, more imaginative. You know, I kind of want them to get that message that there's another kind of customer out there that's still interested in, you know, in Chanel doing that. So yeah, there's that. But I suppose also there's something else, which is this is literally the first time, I think, ever that I've been really thrilled by something from Chanel in the eyeshadow department. As I've said before, I really love the lipstick. There are products I like. The lipsticks are one of them in Chanel. But eyeshadow, I've always just been a bit, yeah, okay, I'll use it. But in the end, I kind of feel an awful lot of money for me to feel a bit, well, not thrilled anyway. But here, yeah, I'm really thrilled. Also, I just want to say, in a time where we're just, you know, we can buy, you know, there's so much to buy, isn't there? There's so much choice and there's so much kind of temptation, and we know the associated FOMO. I do feel that I've bought something that is not going to look silly in January. And that's kind of why I'm sort of, I don't like goldy things. I don't like buying goldy eyeshadows at Christmas, because I just feel silly, you know, come the 3rd of January. It just does, the light changes, it just doesn't seem appropriate. Whereas, you know what? These have actually got a couple of kind of one and done shades. I don't mean they're one and done in a kind of dimensional way, but if I look at even this bluey shade here, this one here, you know, can you see that? Yeah. That swept across the lid with a little bit of just brown shadow in the crease, that's going to be really nice come January, February. You know, when I won't necessarily want to have something quite as sparkly. I suppose what I'm trying to say is this one has got legs past the holidays, I think is what I'm trying to say. And Whereas Misty Iris, which I referred to before, that's got very much sort of spring-like tones, but it was a little bit too metallic. This seems to me like a soft sparkle that's got more longevity. That's basically that's kind of where I'm at. That's basically where I'm at. Somewhat surprisingly, this palette has got 2 one and done shades. I was not actually prepared for this, but I really feel I'm getting a lot of bang for my buck here. So here's what you need to know. There are 2 medium shades. One, as we know, is a matte, and one's got a little bit of sparkle in it. And I've put one on each. So this one is the sparkly one, and this one is the matte, and the sparkly one's on this side, and this is the matte. So take a look, see what you think. This is exactly the kind of shades. These are exactly the kind of shades that I really like as one and dones. I love a soft grey, and this is exactly that kind of right medium grey that's not too deep, there's not too much opacity as well, so it's kind of quick to put on and blend and smush on the eyelids. Really easy. I'm really feeling I'm getting some bang for my buck. I really am. Not really a phrase that I would ever have associated with Chanel. So I just feel that for my £60, which is not we're so used to spending huge sums of money. It's not an inconsiderable sum of money, £60. I know it's not the £130 of the £9. I feel I'm going to get that longevity. So I know I'm in a very kind of, I'm in a kind of fickle environment, aren't I? In a kind of creator's channel. But I do still feel like I want to be able to take something like this away with me and not feel silly come the new year, as it were. So over to you. Do let me know. Do let me know what you think of this palette, what you think of the £9, and which are your favourites, and how you feel you'll wear them maybe in the new year as well, once the holiday season is over and it's kind of died down and we're kind of, picking pine needles out of our socks, or maybe that's just me. But anyway, so yeah, I look forward to hearing from you. Please subscribe and do comment down below. I'll see you down there. I love seeing you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.